Women's boxing may not be as popular as men's boxing, but talent and skill-wise, they are not far behind, since they too can put together some eye-catching combinations to put their opponents to sleep. Here are the wildest knockouts in women's boxing. Seniesa Estrada versus Miranda Adkins. We'll kick things off with the fastest knockout in female boxing history. Perceived by many as a mismatch, undefeated prospect Seniesa Estrada produced a scintillating 7-second performance when she locked horns with 42-year-old mom Miranda Adkins. Now, despite being older by 11 years, Adkins was less experienced, and she took the fight on short notice to quote-unquote test herself. Okay, that was a stupid idea. Adkins only started competing 3 years prior to fighting Estrada and was 5-0 as a professional. The disparity in experience was clear right from the beginning of their fight when Estrada rushed forward, waited a couple of seconds, and then attacked stationary and somewhat starstruck opponent with half a dozen punches to render her unconscious.
Reluctant to come out of her corner, 8 left of 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, this wasn't even a fight. Jelena Marjanovic versus Olivia Garula. When Jelena Marjanovic faced Olivia Garula in 2011, she had lost 5 of her last 7 fights and was stepping in as a late replacement after the fighter who was originally scheduled to fight Olivia for the WIBA featherweight title had to pull out due to an injury. Despite the odds against her, Marjanovic produced a gritty performance, engaging in a back and forth with Garula for 8 rounds, before pulling off one of the scariest knockouts in women's boxing history. Marjanovic was ahead on the scorecards heading into round 9. The scores didn't matter, as 23 seconds into the round she caught Garula with a perfectly placed left hook to the temple as she closed in. The champion hit the canvas face down and was out cold for several minutes. Julissa Guzman versus Ramla Ali. British Somalian prospect Ramla Ali recently had her hype train derailed by Alejandra Julissa Guzman when they battled for the WBA Continental America's Super Bantamweight belt. Ali started off as well as expected, winning the first 2 rounds, but then Guzman's power and precision took over as she outstruck her opponent and sent her to the canvas in the 5th round, which was a 10-8. Round 6 was Guzman's as well, but in round 7, Ali made a bit of a comeback, making her fans hope against all hope. In the 8th round, however, the Brit was put out of her misery after an exchange of blows ended with a short left hook by the Latin American that crashed into the British fighter's chin. Ali crashed onto the canvas with no ability to recover and keep her undefeated record intact. Choi Hyun-mi versus Simona da Silva. Undefeated South Korean sensation Choi Hyun-mi secured her first stoppage win in nearly 6 years when she faced Simona da Silva in a WBA junior lightweight title fight in 2021. The reigning champion already had 8 title defenses to her name when she faced the Brazilian, so she was the favorite to win. The difference in class was evident from the opening bell as the North Korean defector controlled the action throughout the fight, using her jab to push her opponent around the cage while throwing straight rights and left hooks from range. Da Silva had her best moment in the 7th round when she succeeded in getting her combinations together and forced her opponent against the ropes. In the 8th round, Hyun-mi regained control, and in the 9th she finished the job with a crushing left hook to the body that forced Da Silva to take a knee. Claressa Shields versus Nikki Adler. When it comes to women's boxing, is there anyone better than Claressa Shields? The self-proclaimed GOAT of women's boxing is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist who has won multiple championships in boxing, and in only her 4th professional bout, she won 2 major boxing titles by dispatching Nikki Adler in the 5th round. Shields was in control throughout the fight. She staggered Adler in the 1st round, stunned her with a left hook in the 2nd round, brutalized her breadbasket in the 3rd, and then landed some big shots upstairs in the 4th. In the 5th round, she put Adler out of her misery, hitting her squarely in the face with a right before unleashing a combination of powerful punches that left her opponent defenseless.
Left hook, spin the punch, left hook.
That's it, it's over.
The referee had no choice but to call the fight. Ava Knight versus Arlie Machino. In her 26-fight professional boxing career, Ava Knight has had 5 knockouts, but none were more impressive and scary as her knockout victory against Arlie Mucino in 2011. The fight, which had the IBF flyweight title on the line, was fairly competitive in the first round as both fighters traded combinations in the pocket. Knight was more efficient of the two, and she managed to find her opponent's chin with better accuracy. Moreover, her body shots were doing a lot of damage as well. In the second round, the trend continued, with Knight being the aggressor and pushing Mucino against the ropes. Half a minute into round 2, Knight dropped Mucino with a body-head combination. Mucino recovered quickly, but as soon as the action resumed, Knight slipped a couple of stinging punches to Mucino's breadbasket before going upstairs with a left hook that shut Mucino's lights out. Amanda Serrano versus Maria Moderna. Next up, we have one of the greatest boxers of all time, Amanda Serrano, who holds the record for the most boxing championships won in different weight classes by a female. With 30 finishes in 44 fights, Serrano is a proper finisher, who produced an iconic knockout victory against Maria Moderna in their WBO female lightweight title fight in 2014. Despite facing a hostile crowd in Buenos Aires in Argentina, Serrano focused at the task on hand and dominated hometown hero Moderna for 5 rounds, battering her with ferocious speed and power. By the 6th round, Moderna was badly beaten up, and halfway through the round, she got dropped with a solid right hook. As soon as the Argentine got on her feet, she asked the referee to stop the fight because she didn't want any more of the legendary Puerto Rican power. Zelina Munoz versus Vanessa Taborda. With 60 professional fights under her belt, Zelina Munoz is a veteran of professional boxing and quite easily one of the greatest boxers of all time. And in her WBC female super flyweight title defense against Vanessa Taborda, she proved that she belonged among the elite. Taborda came into the fight winless in 7 fights, so she wasn't given much of a chance. Munoz started off strongly, dropping the Argentine with a big left hook to the head. Taborda cleared the cobwebs quickly and managed to fight until the end of round 1. The Mexican was in control of the fight until midway through the 3rd round. Taborda turned the tables on her by dropping her with a left hook. Munoz managed to recover before the 10 count to see the end of round 4. In the 5th round, the Mexican fought smartly, patiently picking her shots before unleashing an overhand right to drop Taborda to the canvas halfway through. The fight was over just a few seconds later. And Sophie Mathis versus Holly Holm. Holly Holm is arguably one of the finest female martial artists of all time. She has won titles in kickboxing, boxing, and MMA, so she's pretty much won everything there is to win in combat sport. But despite her illustrious career, she has had her share of embarrassing moments as well, like her horrifying knockout loss at the hands of Anne-Sophie Mathis in 2012. The boxing match between the two was an absolute slugfest, with both fighters having their moments in the early rounds, but Mathis's power had the more elusive Holm in trouble throughout. There was no corner of the ring Holm could escape, and by the 7th round she was bruised and battered. Though the fight should have ended earlier, it somehow managed to enter round 7, where Mathis continued to unleash violence as Holm stumbled across the ring, and at one point, she was tied to the ropes like a scarecrow, unconscious, yet the referee let the fight continue. As soon as Holm regained consciousness, an uppercut and a right hook followed, sending her through the ropes and outside of the ring, with her body twisted awkwardly. Scary stuff indeed, but definitely not as scary as the one that you will see next. Ann Wolfe versus Vonda Ward. Before Vonda Ward crossed paths with Ann Wolfe in 2004, she was widely recognized as one of the scariest boxers in women's boxing, and for good reason. She was undefeated in 18 fights and 15 finishes, with the WIBA and IBA heavyweight titles to her name. Ann Wolfe has pretty much the same, although she had a career loss on her resume, so when Wolfe faced Ward for the vacant WIBA and IBA light heavyweight titles, Ward was favored to win. As soon as the fight started, Wolfe gave Ward a taste of her power with a big left hook that momentarily shook the former basketball player turned boxer. The action continued, and Ward tried to use her length and reach to good effect by establishing the jab, but she failed to do so. Halfway through minute 1, Wolfe landed a huge body shot. and a minute into the round, she brutally knocked Ward out with a big right hand to the chin. The impact of Wolf's shot tripled because Ward jumped forward straight into the fully leveraged strike. Ward was taken to the hospital in the aftermath because of a neck concussion. And that is it for today, but we have tons of awesome videos all lined up for you. So please subscribe to Athlete Central and turn on those notifications. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.